What's up, fight fans? Thanks as always for coming through. Much appreciated. All right. Manny Pacquiao is the Lance Armstrong of boxing. Those are the words of Paulie Malignaggi. I just watched the Below the Belt podcast with Paulie Malignaggi and Brendan Schaub. Guys, if you don't watch that podcast and you're a sports fan, especially a boxing or mixed martial arts fan, I don't know what you're doing. There's a few podcasts I recommend, and that's definitely up there with Joe Rogan's podcast. They're phenomenal. They speak their mind. Some things they say are incorrect. Some things are a bit outlandish, but nonetheless, it's fantastic viewing and highly entertaining. So guys, if you can watch it, go and watch it. It's about 2 hours. If you're doing nothing, if there's no football on, grab your earphones and watch it for 2 hours. It's fantastic. All right. So yeah, obviously with all this Canelo, Alvarez, Clenbuterol, him getting a 6-month suspension, there's been a lot of people very vocal about it. Some people are for the 6-month suspension and no fine, which is just, if you're for that, then, unsubscribe, please. I don't have a lot of subscribers, but unsubscribe. Dan Raphael is for that, and I think that's just BS. How can you be for something which basically, look, if you got a 6-month suspension from football, it pretty much means you missed the whole of the season. That makes sense. A 6-month suspension from boxing means you miss one fight. It means you miss one fight. It means nothing. So if I am a boxer out there, then fuck it. You just got to roll the dice and take the risk and take some steroids. You've got to take some performance-enhancing drugs because the punishment is just not severe enough. There's a case of a guy in New Zealand. I'm going off subject here, but I'll bring it back in a second. There's a case of a guy in New Zealand, a rugby player, plays rugby 7, so we're not even talking a proper All Black. He got 4 years for Clenbuterol. 4 years for Clenbuterol. So yeah, Canelo getting 6 months for failing it twice is a kick in the arse to everyone that says the Nevada State Athletic Commission and boxing in general is trying to clean up this very, very dirty sport. Let's not forget, you can die in boxing. Scott Westgarth died a few months ago from boxing. So it's dangerous enough, let alone people coming into the ring with performance-enhancing drugs in their system. But anyway, back to Manny Pacquiao. Paulie Malignaggi said, Manny Pacquiao is the Lance Armstrong, referring to the fact that obviously Lance Armstrong was taking a number of drugs for years and did not get caught. And then obviously it just all came out and his world came crumbling down around him. I'm a firm believer, like 10 out of 10. You can't convince me otherwise that Manny Pacquiao was juicing. I don't think he's juicing anymore, but that period when he was running through people like a hot knife through butter, I'm sorry, that guy was juiced up to the gills. And it's strange because listening to what Paulie said, it's almost like the penny dropped for both him and myself at exactly the same fight. So when I watched Pacquiao Cotto, bear in mind Cotto was my favourite fighter of all time around that period. Still is in my top 5 best fighters of all time. I love Miguel Cotto. When I was watching Cotto Pacquiao, I was mesmerised by what I was seeing. I was like, prior to the fight actually, I was like, there's absolutely, I know he's trying to drain him on the weight. He asked him to come down to 145, I think. But there's absolutely no way Pacquiao is running through Cotto. Cotto is too big, too strong. He's a naturally massive guy. I've interviewed him. He's really big. He has to ball down to make the weight. There's no way. It's just not happening. It's just no way. If he tries to stand there toe-to-toe with Cotto, Pacquiao could get knocked out. I mean, Pacquiao's a guy that's coming up from a weight that I didn't even know existed, or atom weight or some bullshit. When he started putting a beating on Cotto, I was like, nah, I'm not having this. And this is funny because Paulie says exactly the same thing. Paulie was like, in this interview, guys, check it out if you can. Again, Below the Belt podcast. Paulie was saying that he was watching the fight and he was like, oh, this is just too obvious. Like, as a boxer as well. Remember, he's a boxer. So he's watching the fight thinking, there's no way Pacquiao's going to get away with this. Like, literally, it's too obvious. Like, this is big Cotto. Remember, Paulie fought Cotto, I think, 4 years prior. He said, this is, no chance. The beating he put on Cotto, it's just now become too obvious that you've cheated. And so he said that the next day he was literally expecting to open the newspapers and for the boxing writers to say all this negative stuff about Pacquiao, like, like, is he on something, blah, 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 all that kind of negative stuff. And so when you open the newspapers the next day and all you saw was praise, he said that is the day that he realised boxing has a PED problem and no one wants to talk about it. That's the day he realised. And it's strange because there's even an interviewer that tries to, I think she's from the Philippines, and she tries to interview Floyd Mayweather Sr. after the fight, and obviously tried to almost goad Mayweather Sr. into talking about Mayweather versus Pacquiao. And Mayweather Sr.'s like, no, I don't want my boy to fight that guy. And she was like, what? You don't want him to fight Pacquiao? And he's like, yeah, I don't want my son to fight Pacquiao. He said, not that I'm scared, but no, there's something wrong here. He says, for him to put a big whooping on Cotto, those are his words. He said, no, I don't want my boy fighting him. So it's like the boxers and the boxing community know. But obviously, like the casual fans and maybe the guys that are fans of that fight are kind of maybe put into the side. But boxers know who cheats. It's just a fact. A fact. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about David Haye. Tony Belly's been saying a few stuff about David Haye as well. I'm going to try and analyze that a bit. But boxers know. It might never ever come out that Manny Pacquiao cheated. I think one day it will. I really do. I think Freddie Roach on his deathbed will say something. I honestly believe that Amir Khan will say something. There's even a kid in the UK that trained at the Wildcard Gym that got caught taking everything a man could take. Larry Olabamiwo. I think he might say something eventually, but it's going to come out. Trust me. It's going to be like a Lance Armstrong thing. I really do believe. Because Pacquiao, I think, could almost be the face of steroids in the 21st century. What he did, the way he was running through people for a period was just, stop it. I mean, stop it.